Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time I have an unboxing of the POCO X6 Pro. Let's get started. Pay close attention because this is probably one of the most attractive devices of the moment for everything it offers at a super tight price. There are several versions available. The one with 8 GB of RAM with about 156 GB of storage is priced at 5,999 pesos. On screen you see the reference price in dollars, although remember that prices here are not the same as over there. But at least from the perspective of the prices that are generally handled in Mexico, this price is exaggeratedly low. It is going to be very difficult to resist buying this device considering that there is also a 12 GB RAM version with 512 GB of storage at a price of 6,999. In fact, until the 22nd of January, there are going to be some discounts that will make the devices even cheaper. So, I insist that it will be very difficult to resist these proposals, but what do you think if you join me to uncover it so that we can get to know its interior? The first thing we find in the box is this small envelope where we will probably find a case and other things. Indeed, here we have the necessary documentation, which I call them papers of all life. Next, we find the... Curiously, for all these new devices, including POCO X6 Pro, POCO X6 and POCO M6 Pro, we have a very similar case with a finish that is not transparent but is completely matte in a black shade. The truth is that the case looks good. We'll see how it looks when we place it on the device. Finally, we have the key to remove the tray, and that's all that comes in this envelope. Next, we're going to take the cell phone out. Let's take a look at what the manufacturer wants to highlight about the specifications of this device. To begin with, the processor, which is the MediaTek Dimensity 83000 Ultra. A fairly powerful processor even in its Ultra edition. The truth is that this processor is usually going to find it in high-end devices, and to see it in a mid-range device, it really surprises too much. The proposal is very aggressive from POCO. Next, we are going to find an AMOLED screen with 120 Hz. The main camera is 64 megapixels, has optical stabilization, charging 67 watts, and the battery is 5,000 milliamperes. The truth is that it will not be so easy to find weaknesses in this device. Personally, I'm not a fan of these ultra-reflective designs, but considering that the case comes in a matte finish, I think we could easily forgive this. Anyway, POCO continues to make designs that I don't really like. This is possibly the only point I can criticize it because in the rest of the specs it is irresistible. Let's turn it on and see what else comes in the box. As you can see, on one side we find the 67-watt charger. In this case it has a European charging adapter because it's a review unit, but it's going to come adapted to your region. And also on the other side we're going to find the USB cable, which on one side has the USB-A and on the other end it comes with USB-C. Of course it's got a nice thickness to be able to transfer all this current. It's a considerably powerful charger for a mid-range device. And check out the surprise we're getting. It has Xiaomi Hyper OS, the new operating system, so it shouldn't have any bugs. Let's put all this away and take a look at the phone. I already have the device set up, so let's take a look at all its specs, which I insist will be quite attractive. First, let me tell you that there is an edition with synthetic leather on the back, which is going to be much more attractive from my point of view, although in this case I have the edition that is in plastic that has a kind of glass look. The weight of this version is 186 grams and its thickness is 8.25 millimeters. The screen has 6.67 inches in its diagonal. You know that all Xiaomi by obligation must have that measurement, right? Just kidding, just kidding. The resolution is 1.5K, that is slightly higher than Full HD. So in this aspect, it can also get to stand out from its competitors. We are talking about an AMOLED display with 120 Hz in its refresh rate, a maximum peak brightness of 1800 nits, sampling rate of 2160 Hz, and dimming of 1960 Hz. Every way you look at it, it's a display that's unrivaled in the range. It even comes protected with Gorilla Glass 5. I do not know what more we could ask for because it also supports Dolby Vision content, so it is a screen that we cannot criticize anything. The front camera is 16 megapixels. You know that this is also a must on all Xiaomi, right? It's another joke, don't get mad. On the back we have the 64 megapixel main camera, then the 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and finally a 2 megapixel macro camera that from my point of view is useless. Finally, I found something to criticize. That macro camera is getting in the way. Let's take a quick look at some results here. This is a capture before taking the picture with the front camera, so you can see how there are some overexposed areas. But after taking the picture, I think it does a very good job. We even have a good level of detail. We'll do a more in-depth analysis in the video review, but for now, the first impression is that it is a considerably good camera. Now you're looking at the ultra-wide camera picture, which again I think is of good quality. Then we have a photograph with the main camera, then a photograph with 2x zoom, which maintains optical quality. And yes, it is true, honestly, it does look like optical zoom. It looks like a highly detailed picture. In fact, we also have a picture with 5x zoom, and it still looks good. And the maximum zoom is 10x, and again, I have to say that POCO in this generation is really taking full advantage of the 64 megapixel sensor that it has. The camera has improved considerably compared to other POCO cameras. As I anticipated, the battery is 5000 milliamps with 67 watts charging. We also find support for 5G networks and IP54 splash-proof certification. It also has a fingerprint reader under the screen. And one little detail I'm noticing is that it has a vibration motor on the X-axis. That is, the vibration actually feels like little taps on the hand, and that makes for an extremely premium experience. I don't know what more we could ask for from this device. It even has infrared to make it a universal remote control. That will obviously be through their My Remote app. So, we continue to find positives. It also has the ability to record video in 4K, even with HDR. So lastly, let's take a look at what this processor has to offer in terms of power. Remember though, this is going to be a benchmark test just for reference, but the actual performance we'll see in the video review later on. So, I'll come back when I'm done with this test to see the score. And here's the result. We found 1,114 points on a single core and 3,814 points on multi-core. It's definitely an exaggeratedly powerful device. Very good screen, good sound, good cameras. The truth is that it is completely recommended to buy, but if you want to know it in more depth, wait for my video review so we can see all possible details. For the moment, this has been all for this video. If you liked it, you know you can tell us about it, and we'll see you next time.